Some people only look up when they're lying flat on their back. You know, there's a song that children sing. Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is truly everywhere. Up, up, down, down, right, left, and all around. Of course, in Judaism, we believe that God is everywhere. But yet, during this month of Elul, the Alter Rabbi, Rabbi Scheiner Zalman of Liadi, says, God is in the field, like a king who leaves the palace to go out to the countryside to meet the citizens of his country, and anyone who wishes can approach the king and request anything they like. So too, says the Alter Rebbe, during this month the king is in the field. Hashem is available and accessible to each and every one of us. And the question is, if God is everywhere, up, up, down, down, right, left, and all around, what does the Alter Rebbe mean that the month of Elul is when the king is in the field? God is always available. God is always present all around us. And the answer, perhaps very simply, is that sometimes two people could be very close to each other. They could be sitting inches apart, but if they're sitting back to back, even though they're physically close to each other, they're emotionally and spiritually very distant from one another. And they simply have to turn around and face each other because they're so close but yet so far. But they have to rearrange and reorient themselves to see each other, to connect with each other, to pivot into a relationship. And the COVID period was fraught with sadness and tragedy and loss, but it was also a new way of living with a consciousness of kindness and caring and love. It was almost like God pressed a reset button on humanity, saying you need to focus on caring about one another, praying for each other, supporting and loving and nurturing your relationships with one another. And perhaps during this month of Elul, as we think more about COVID, we're also... And so, as we now get closer to Rosh Hashanah, let us reconnect with a deeper and more meaningful bond with Hashem, who is always looking and yearning to relate to his children. In the early days of COVID, there was a story about an elderly woman who was admitted to the hospital. And her son, who couldn't visit her, was frantically calling the hospital and finally reached one of the doctors and said to the doctor, "How's my mother doing?" And the doctor said, "Unfortunately, your mother is not doing well. She's 100 years old, she has double pneumonia, and things don't look good at all." And the son said, "Could you do me a favor and take the phone to my mother? I want to speak to her." And the doctor said, "Unfortunately, your mother is not conscious anymore." And the son said, "Do me a favor, just take the phone to her ear. I want to say some final prayers with her." The doctor said, "I'm really busy running from bed to bed, but if you make it short, I can do it." And he took his cell phone to the woman's bed and put it on speakerphone and said to the son, "You can speak. The phone is by your mother's ear." And this doctor listened to the way the son started to recite the Shema with his mother. And then he hears the way the son breaks down sobbing, crying, as he can't get through the words of the Shema with his dying mother. And the doctor looks down and he sees this elderly 100-year-old woman, and then notices on her arm a tattoo from her number from Auschwitz, from the concentration camps. And this doctor was a Jewish doctor who had not recited the Shema since he was a child, began to weep along with the son. And when he finished, the son said to the doctor, "I can't thank you enough for allowing me to say final Shema with my mother." And the doctor said, "No, you don't thank me. I need to thank you. I never felt so connected to the Jewish people